Angelina Patrick. If there was one thing everyone in her life agreed on, it was this. Angelina loved sleep. Angelina, get up. A familiar voice pierced through her dreams like an alarm siren. Angelina groaned and pulled the blanket over her head. 5 more minutes. No. The next thing she knew, freezing water drenched her from head to toe. What the hell? Angelina shot upright in bed, her scream echoing throughout the apartment. Standing beside her with an empty bucket in hand was her best friend, Lexi Swartz. She wore a smug grin. Have you gone insane, Lexi? Angelina shouted, staring at her soaked pajamas and dripping bed sheets. Lexi rolled her eyes. Come on, Angel. You are the laziest person I've ever met. Seriously, I have no idea how I've tolerated you all these years. Angelina glared at her. Lexi had always been the complete opposite of her, energetic, disciplined, athletic, with beautiful green eyes and short brown curls framing her face. Lexi seemed to excel at everything she touched. Her parents owned a small publishing company in Seoul and were respected within their social circle. She had grown up in comfort. Angelina, meanwhile, was simply Angelina. A beautiful dark-skinned girl with long, natural, black curls cascading down her back and deep brown eyes filled with warmth and curiosity. She wasn't the kind of girl magazines called perfect, but she had kindness, strength, and a stubborn determination inherited from her mother. Most importantly, she loved sleeping, especially on Sundays. Why are you doing this to me? Angelina groaned. Lexi's smile widened. Because we're going shopping. Angelina blinked, then immediately threw off the blanket. Get out of my room. Give me 10 minutes. Lexi grinned victoriously. That's my girl. 2 hours later, the two girls wandered through the bustling corridors of COEX Mall in Gangnam. Shopping bags hung from Lexi's arms while Angelina held an iced coffee. I don't need this sweater, Angelina muttered. You absolutely do. You've said that about everything I've picked up. Because your wardrobe is tragic. Angelina rolled her eyes. Suddenly, Lexi froze. Oh my God. What? 3 o'clock. Angelina glanced over. A handsome man stood near a luxury boutique, got perfect hair. Sharp jawline. Tailored suit. The type of man who looked like wealth itself. Lexi looked ready to collapse. Angelina simply looked away. What? Lexi gasped. Did you just roll your eyes? I'm not interested. Angelina! He looks like the type who breaks hearts for entertainment. You don't even know him. And he doesn't know I exist. Lexi narrowed her eyes. You're 18 and still waiting for your Prince Charming to magically appear. Angelina shrugged. If I ever date someone, I'd like him to actually notice me. Then maybe you should start looking, Lexi continued, lecturing. Angelina stopped listening because she'd seen it again, across the street, the black car. Her smile disappeared. It was parked exactly where she'd noticed it before. Outside. Campus, near the grocery store. Outside Lexi's house. Always there. Always. Watching, her stomach tightened. Lexi. The car. Lexi followed her gaze. Sleek black sedan sat motionless by the roadside. You've mentioned this before. It's the same one. You don't know that, Angelina frowned. For 2 weeks, it had appeared. Everywhere, watching, waiting. You don't have enemies, Lexi reasoned. No crazy ex-boyfriends. I don't even have an ex-boyfriend? Exactly. Angelina stared at the tinted windows. Maybe she was imagining things. Maybe stress was playing tricks on her. Or maybe someone really was following her. Let's eat, Angelina said suddenly. I'm starving. Lexi immediately brightened. Finally, by the time they left the cafe, evening had begun settling over Seoul. Lexi drove Angelina home through quieter neighborhoods far from Gangnam's glittering skyline. Unlike the city's wealthier districts, Angelina lived in a modest apartment complex. It wasn't luxurious, but it was home. Don't forget to pick me up tomorrow, Angelina reminded her. My car's still broken. I know. Lexi hugged her. Try not to obsess over the mystery car. Angelina forced a smile. I'll try. She watched until Lexi's car disappeared around the corner. Relief washed over her. Her mother's car was parked outside. Mama was home. Turning toward the apartment entrance, Angelina froze. The black sedan, parked across the street. Her pulse quickened. No way. Before she could stop herself, she crossed the sidewalk, step after step. The car remained still. Then, its engine roared to life. The sedan sped away into the evening traffic. Angelina stopped, walking. Okay, that was definitely weird. The smell of homemade pizza greeted her the moment she stepped inside. Her shoulders relaxed instantly. Mama? In the kitchen. Angelina smiled. Lucia Patrick looked exhausted. As always, she worked tirelessly to provide for her daughters. Everything she did for them. How was shopping? Lucia asked. It was great. Angelina kissed her cheek. You deserve an award for making pizza after work. Lucia laughed softly. And you deserve one for surviving a shopping trip with Lexi. After dinner, they talked about their day. Angelina carefully avoided mentioning the black car. The last thing she wanted was to worry her mother. Maybe I should take on extra shifts, Lucia said quietly. No, Angelina answered immediately. You already work too much. What about Alex? At the mention of her younger sister, Lucia smiled. Alex Patrick, 4 years younger. Bright, talkative. The sunshine of their family, currently away on a school trip. She's enjoying herself, Lucia said. Of course she is, Angelina laughed. Alex probably thinks it's a vacation. They spent the evening watching television together. Eventually, Angelina noticed her mother's eyes drifting shut within minutes. Lucia had fallen asleep. Angelina lowered the volume. People always called her mother strong, but Angelina knew strength came with exhaustion. She'd heard the quiet sobbing behind closed doors, seen the sadness hidden behind tired smiles. Their father had left years ago. Some wounds never truly healed. Carefully, Angelina covered her mother with a blanket, then cleaned the kitchen before heading to bed. It was nearly past midnight. Angelina stared at the ceiling. Sleep refused to come. Instead, she thought about the car. Why did it keep appearing? Was someone watching her? Was she imagining everything? Would she laugh about this tomorrow? Or was her ordinary life already changing without her realizing it? The strangest part wasn't fear. It wasn't even the possibility that someone was following her. It was this. Deep down, Angelina wasn't scared, confused, curious, uneasy, but not afraid. She closed her eyes. Maybe she needed to stop watching crime documentaries before bed. Outside her bedroom window, rain began tapping softly against the glass. Far across Seoul, beyond the dazzling city lights, a black sedan passed through the gates of a heavily guarded estate. Inside the back seat, a man dressed entirely in black lowered the photograph in his hand. The image showed a young woman leaving a shopping mall. Dark skin, long curls, gentle eyes. Silence filled the vehicle. Then a deep male voice spoke from the shadows. Keep watching her. Cold eyes reflected the passing city lights. And don't let her notice. The men inside the car lowered their heads. Yes, boss. The man turned his gaze back toward the photograph. His expression remained unreadable, but his fingers tightened slightly around its edges. Kang Jae-hyun, young heir of Seoul's most feared underworld empire. Angelina Patrick had no idea that somewhere within Seoul's hidden mafia world, a man she'd never met had just become interested in her, and her life would never be ordinary again. Kang Jae-hyun stared silently at the woman sleeping beside him. Her breathing was uneven, exhaustion evident on her face as strands of hair clung to her damp skin beneath the dim lights of the luxury hotel suite overlooking Seoul. He felt nothing. A few hours ago, she had been desperate to please him. Now he couldn't even remember her name. Not because he hadn't asked, but because his mind had been occupied by someone else entirely. Angelina Patrick. Just thinking about her name unsettled the man who ruled Seoul's underworld without mercy. He closed his eyes and remembered exactly how it had started. 1 month ago. Around the time Angelina first began noticing the black sedan, Jae-hyun had gone to Coex Mall to personally deal with a shop owner who had repeatedly ignored repayment demands from his organization. Mercy had no place in his world. The man had already been warned twice. There would not be a third time. Jae-hyun entered through the back corridor with Min Seok and several trusted men following behind. The boutique had already closed for the day. The customers were gone. Most of the staff had already left. Everything had gone according to plan. Until he heard a noise. A muffled sound echoed from the changing area. Jae-hyun immediately raised a hand. His men stopped. He moved toward the source of the sound, one hand resting near the concealed weapon beneath his jacket. Another sound. Someone was inside. Without hesitation, he opened the changing room door, and the world seemed to stop. A young woman stood inside. Dark skin, long natural curls framing her face, wide brown eyes filled with panic, then relief. Oh my God. Before Jae-hyun could react, she rushed toward him. Thank you. Her small arms wrapped around him. I thought I'd be trapped in here all night. Kang Jae-hyun froze. The feared king of Seoul's underworld forgot how to breathe. He stood motionless, allowing her warmth to sink into his cold body. The scent of vanilla and fabric softener lingered around her. Then suddenly, she pulled away. Embarrassment flooded her expression. Thank you so much. She tucked a curl behind her ear. I really have to go. And just like that, she disappeared, leaving Jae-hyun staring after her. Boss. Min Seok's voice broke through the silence. Our business. Jae-hyun blinked. Business. Right. He turned toward his men. Warn him one last time. His voice regained its usual icy calm. If he refuses to pay. He adjusted his cuffs. Make sure he understands the consequences. Without another word, Jae-hyun walked away. That night, for the first time in years, Kang Jae-hyun couldn't sleep. I want everything. Jae-hyun placed the photograph on his desk. By tomorrow morning, Sam bowed his head immediately. Yes, boss. He never asked questions. The next day, a file rested neatly on Jae-hyun's desk. Angelina Patrickage, 18 mother. Lucia Patrick younger. Sister, Alexandria Patrick. Best friend, Lexi Swartz School. St. Andrew International School. Jae-hyun studied the attached photograph. Angelina Patrick, a girl from an ordinary family, raised by a single mother. Helping support her household, completely unrelated to the darkness he inhabited. She belonged beneath sunlight, not blood-stained shadows. She was everything he wasn't, and yet, he couldn't stop thinking about her. Days passed, then weeks. Without realizing it, Jae-hyun found himself seeking glimpses of her, outside campus, near grocery stores, outside Lexi's neighborhood. He never approached, only watched from a distance. Angelina laughed easily. She bit her nails when deep in thought. She became dramatic whenever Lexi teased her. She smiled at strangers. She helped elderly people carry groceries. The smallest details lodged themselves in Jae-hyun's memory. A man who had watched countless people beg for their lives had somehow become captivated by a girl who knew nothing about his world. Twice 3 days earlier, Sam arrived carrying troubling news. Anthony Xander has noticed unusual surveillance activity. Jae-hyun looked up sharply. What kind? He's trying to find out who you're protecting. Jae-hyun immediately understood. If Anthony kept digging, it wouldn't take long before he found Angelina. Silence. Then, the crystal glass in Jae-hyun's hand shattered. Anthony Xander, one of the few men reckless enough to challenge Seoul's underworld king. If Xander discovered Angelina mattered to Jae-hyun, he would use her, without hesitation, without mercy. Jae-hyun rose to his feet. Increase surveillance. Protect her. From a distance. His men bowed immediately. Yes, boss. From that day onward. The black sedan followed Angelina everywhere she went. Quietly, unseen, always nearby. Today, one of his men called. Miss Patrick went shopping with Lexi Swartz. Jae-hyun abandoned the meeting he had been attending. He drove to COEX Mall and watched. Angelina argued with Lexi over clothes she insisted she didn't need. Rolled her eyes whenever Lexi pointed out attractive men. Laughed while sipping iced coffee. Completely unaware, completely ordinary, completely dangerous to the walls Jae-hyun had built around himself. Then, she looked toward the street, toward the black sedan. Toward him, for one terrifying second, he thought she'd seen through everything. Boss? Min Seok glanced into the rearview mirror. Should we leave? Jae-hyun's gaze remained fixed on Angelina. No. But moments later, she started walking toward the car. Jae-hyun narrowed his eyes. Drive. The sedan pulled away immediately. He watched her standing there in confusion through the side mirror. Interesting. Even while frightened. Angelina Patrick still chose curiosity over fear. His phone vibrated. Minsok. Talk. Sam just confirmed it. Anthony Xander is meeting Ethan Williams tonight. The atmosphere inside the car turned glacial. Ethan Williams. The man responsible for destroying Jae-hyun's family years ago. The man Jae-hyun had sworn to kill. If Ethan and Xander joined forces, Angelina would become vulnerable. He closed his eyes briefly. Images he refused to accept flashed through his mind. Angelina hurt. Angelina crying. Angelina disappearing. No, absolutely not. He opened his eyes. Through the tinted window, he saw Angelina smiling as she entered her apartment building. Safe, unaware, still living in a world untouched by monsters, Jae-hyun tightened his grip on his phone. Double the security detail. His deep voice echoed through the silent vehicle. Do not let her notice. The men lowered their heads. Yes, boss. Jae-hyun's eyes remained fixed on the apartment windows above. For the first time in years, fear slipped into the heart of Seoul's most feared man. And his voice softened into something more dangerous. Do not let anyone lay a hand on her, because somehow, Angelina Patrick had become the only weakness Kang Jae-hyun possessed, and for the first time in years, the man who inspired fear across Seoul found himself afraid of losing someone. No matter what it cost him, no matter what he had to become, he would keep Angelina Patrick safe. Angelina. Angelina, get up. You're going to be late for school. My mother's voice echoed from downstairs. I pulled the blanket over my head. 5 more minutes. Angelina Patrick. My eyes flew open immediately. Whenever Mom used my full name, it meant she wasn't joking. I'm coming. 15 minutes later, I walked downstairs with my hair still slightly damp from a rushed shower. The smell of freshly made pancakes filled the small kitchen. Good morning, Mom. Lucia Patrick smiled warmly. Lexi will be here soon. I'm working an extra shift tonight. Make sure you get home safely. I sat down at the table. I have to stay a little longer at the cafe, too. Mr. Peterson said they're short-staffed today. Mom frowned slightly. Don't come home too late. I know. My phone vibrated. I'm here. Lexi. I quickly stood up. I'm leaving. Love you, Mom. Lucia smiled. Love you, too. As soon as I stepped outside, I saw Lexi's familiar car parked in front of the building. But what made me stop walking was the black sedan across the street. Lexi saw it too. Angel. I knew exactly what she was thinking. It's there again. The same car I had been seeing for the past 2 weeks. Still parked there. Silent. Watching. I think you should call the police. Lexi spoke quietly. I don't have any proof. I forced a smile. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But even I no longer believed that explanation. St. Andrew International School. Everything unfolded as usual. Laughter. Teachers lecturing. Pens scratching across paper. I tried to focus on class, tried to ignore the feeling of being watched, but it remained, lingering like a shadow. The final class of the day was music, my favorite subject. I had always loved playing guitar. It made me forget everything that troubled me. When I entered the classroom, I realized the only empty seat was beside Thomas Reed. Thomas, one of the most popular boys at school. Kind, smart, and the ridiculous crush I had never told anyone about. Hey. He gave me a small nod. Hi, I replied, trying to sound calm. The teacher smiled. Today, let music guide your hearts. Focus on your own emotions. I closed my eyes. My fingers moved across the guitar strings, but instead of melodies, I saw the black car, the invisible eyes hidden behind tinted windows. When I opened my eyes, Thomas was looking at me. Angelina. I jumped slightly. Huh? Your playing is beautiful. It sounds peaceful. Heat rushed to my cheeks. Thank you. The bell rang at the perfect moment, saving me from further embarrassment. I quickly gathered my things. Angelina, Thomas called after me. You forgot your notebook. Oh, thanks. He hesitated for a few seconds. Actually, would you help me study sometime? We could go to the library after school. My heart skipped a beat. Before I could answer, a young boy ran up to me. Miss Angelina? Someone asked me to give you this. I took the folded note. The messy handwriting sent a chill through my body. Stay away from her. This is your first warning. Don't make me repeat it a second time. The blood in my veins seemed to freeze. I looked around. The hallway was crowded with students. Nobody paid attention to me, but I knew someone was watching. Angelina? Thomas looked concerned. Is something wrong? I clenched the note tightly. No. I have something to do today. Sorry. I turned and walked away, not daring to look back. That evening, Mr. Peterson's cafe was packed with customers. I stayed busy serving drinks, cleaning tables, taking orders. For a while, it helped me forget about the strange note. Outside the large front window, a black SUV was parked across the street, inside the vehicle. Kang Jae-hyun watched silently. His eyes never left the young woman smiling at customers. She's fine. Min-seok sighed. You really sent a warning letter to that student? Jae-hyun didn't answer immediately. He was trying to get close to her. He's just a high school student. Then he should know his limits. Min-seok rubbed his forehead. You realize this is completely insane, right? Jae-hyun continued staring through the glass. I know. I just don't care. Suddenly, Min-seok's phone vibrated. His expression changed instantly. Sir, Anthony Xander's men are moving. Jae-hyun's jaw tightened. Target? The cafe. The temperature inside the vehicle seemed to drop. Everyone, move into position. Jae-hyun's voice became ice cold. Do not let them touch her. Close to midnight, Angelina stepped out of the cafe. The streets were nearly empty. Lexi couldn't pick her up. She stood at the curb waiting for a taxi. 3 men stood beneath a nearby street lamp. Their stares made her uncomfortable. Angelina looked away, trying to remain calm. But when she started walking faster, the footsteps behind her grew faster too. Her heart pounded. She turned into a narrow side street. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her violently. Angelina screamed. Another hand immediately covered her mouth. Easy now. We just want to talk. Tears filled her eyes. She struggled, kicked, scratched. A slap struck her face. The world spun. Damn, this girl is strong. A disgusting laugh echoed through the alley. Then, bang! A gunshot tore through the night. One of the men collapsed to the ground. A voice colder than death echoed through the darkness. You have 5 seconds. Let her go. Or, I'll kill every last one of you. A figure stepped from the shadows. A perfectly tailored black suit, cold black eyes, a terrifying presence that seemed to freeze the air itself. The thugs panicked. Min-seok and several others charged forward. The sounds of fists connecting, bones breaking, screams echoing through the alley. Angelina collapsed onto the cold pavement. Her vision blurred. A man knelt in front of her. Strong hands gently lifted her face.